I think every time we bring decision makers together with the real entrepreneurs, the folks that finance the development of new technologies, it gives you hope. They're doing this because they really believe in the defense of our country.
I'm John Seward for the Threat Status team at the Washington Times. I'm here with Senator Rounds. Sir, thanks for sitting down with us.
Appreciate the opportunity.
We're here at the Reagan Defense Forum. How's it been today?
Busy, active, lots of things going on, lots of players all coming together to talk about the defense of our nation.
You've mentioned to me a couple times throughout the day today that innovation and kind of seeing the ground truth of what our defense industry is doing is one of the themes you've picked up.
No, that's correct. Look, in Washington, there are folks that come in and share what they're working on. But out here, what you have is a planned event in which the major players in the defense industry of our country and around the world all come together, hoping that there will be representatives coming out of our nation's capital, representing the Department of Defense, the appropriators, the authorizers, and so forth, all kind of coming together and getting a chance to actually talk about what the needs are in the defense of our country coming, but then also what products they have that they want to make sure that we're aware of. And I think that combination is pretty special here. And it's all focused on peace through strength, which is what Ronald Reagan was all about. And that's what brings everybody together.
You just finished up a panel a little bit earlier where the aspect of the NDAA came up, and you're mentioning, the folks from Washington coming out here. When you're at an event like this, what's that sort of conversation feel and look like to make sure that the law and the way that we're actually authorizing these folks matches what they're working on? I know there's a lot of upfront investment from some of these defense companies.
Yeah, in most cases, what we're doing is we're authorizing the Department of Defense or the government to do certain things, such as if we're talking about purchasing B-21s, how many do we purchase? If we're talking about the F-35, what are we going to do in terms of purchasing F-35s, F-15s, and so forth? And at the same time, there's all of these new capabilities that are out there that incorporate artificial intelligence into a web, not necessarily a kill chain, but a kill web. And so you're talking to people that are really into some of the highest tech that you'll see, and they're incorporating that into either systems that defend or systems that are offensive in nature. But all of them come together out here, and they will share kind of what their products are once again, and how it may fit into what our needs are. But they also want to know what are the needs out there, and what are you guys planning on doing in the next years? And so you try to share with them kind of the direction you see going in terms of the defense of our country. Drones are a huge part of what we're talking about today. You're talking about offensive drones that are going to be used to go after, targets that you wouldn't want to have an armed aircraft going after because of the danger involved. But you're also talking about how you defend against somebody else's drones and all of the different technologies that might be utilized and how quickly it's changing.
When you mentioned artificial intelligence and sort of the new technology being part of that, it seems like some of the conversation has also been, what's the right way to approach putting regulation rails around artificial intelligence without slowing it down? And I mean, there's been a lot of talk this whole day about that's a competition that we're in.
It is, you're right. Look, artificial intelligence is not going away. It will accelerate the decision-making process, and it will accelerate the gathering of data like we've never seen before. And our adversaries are doing it. The question is do we want to fall behind and give them, the opportunities to put us at risk, our families at risk, by having weapon systems that move faster and are more capable than ours? Or do we want to have the defensive capabilities that are better than theirs and make them think twice about actually attacking? But we still want to have those offensive capabilities as well, so that they don't think about, or they think twice about attacking us. That means, though, that you've got to have an American public that is comfortable with the way that we protect them from privacy issues. I mean, social media is probably one of the best examples of what most people see as the use of artificial intelligence.
Right.
And it's a terrible example because it incorporates some of the worst of the worst in terms of what people see as being a healthy thing. You know, that they don't want their kids involved in it. They don't want their kids to have to put up with it. They think that AI is targeting them in terms of the advertising. They think it's targeting them in terms of trying to keep them in the bubble of only getting certain information. But AI has a whole lot of other capabilities as well. It can allow us to take a vehicle and put it into harm's way, or to get into a dangerous situation in fighting a fire that would save lives. It's also something that will improve the quality of life for a lot of Americans when we talk about healthcare, because we can make decisions literally in milliseconds that might take a traditional laboratory 200 years to go through in terms of medical breakthroughs. And so for me, I want the best of AI available to the American public, but I also want to make sure that we lay out the guidelines so that it's used appropriately. I'll go one step farther. I think if things are illegal without the use of artificial intelligence, simply using artificial intelligence to make it faster, quicker, or better doesn't change it from being illegal to legal.
Right.
And so I think we have to start with that. If you're stealing property from somebody and using AI to do it, you're still doing something that's wrong if you use the AI versus if you didn't use the AI.
Well, and you mentioned sort of the public sentiment aspect there and their perception of this. The Reagan Institute's survey seemed to suggest, at least to me when I read a lot of the percentages there, there's a willingness to see investment in defense. There's a willingness to see investment in tech as a way to get us more towards the front in terms of competition, but very much still this sort of back and forth on how much folks trust the military and think they're prepared, et cetera.
Yeah, look, we're in the middle of a competition with China right now, and we have to win that competition. And we have the people that are very, very capable of producing the intellect to stay ahead with regard to the creation of artificial intelligence products. We have the compute power to make it effective. We can organize that. We've got the chips, we've got the technology to organize the chips, and we're better than China today than what they are in compute power. We have more power. We have more compute power. The place that we fall behind is in the generation of energy, and you use lots of energy whenever you incorporate AI. When you use artificial intelligence, it runs a lot of computer chips, and it does take a lot of power. China is producing more power than we are today, and they are creating more power stations, more nuclear facilities, more traditional energy power plants than what we are today. And that's the part that makes us nervous, is we have to produce more power, or we have to find ways to generate artificial intelligence at a more inexpensive rate in terms of the use of power than what we are today.
It's interesting that you sort of connect a little bit of these disparate ideas, I think, for folks, because as I've listened to the different panels and I've seen different speakers across the day-to-day, one thing that struck me is as we're sort of seeing defense and national security touch more areas of life, it's very important that we kind of acknowledge and see where we have some of those weaknesses. Like you're talking about power generation right now, and that being a critical part of the AI sort of competition, that AI competition being a critical part of national defense.
Yes.
But it also sounds like coming away from a day like today, you're pretty encouraged that the conversations are happening to actually keep us in that competition.
That's correct. I think every time we bring decision makers together with the real entrepreneurs, the folks that finance AI and the development of new technologies, the people that are building them, the people with all of the ideas, the manufacturers, the technology companies of all sizes, it gives you hope because they've got great ideas. And really, the vast majority of them that are here, they're doing this because they really believe in the defense of our country. And I mean, that is so strong here. And they don't want to sell their products to anybody else. They want to sell them to us. They want to find a way to get their product into the market here in the United States and to the benefit of the people of this country.
Senator Mike Rounds, thanks for sitting down with me and talking about the Defense Forum today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The Washington Times and the Threat Size team, I'm John Seward.